cantaloupe, avocado, arugula. How we doing, people? It's Scott on a Wednesday in the Mile High City, Wednesday edition. It's like 19 degrees outside. See, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the two different forecasts here in Denver. They'll give you one forecast, but then they'll give you this one. When it gets to 0 degrees for 3 days, it's just one forecast. Because, it's a no-brainer. 100%. Slam dunk, home run, touchdown, whatever you want to say. It's cold. But next week it'll be 70. And then those of you with the seasonal kind of the winter funks, you know what I'm saying. You know who you are. March will be here and days will get longer. And why can't we sign an executive order getting rid of the daylight savings time? Please. So last week we decided we needed one to make the word fuck acceptable. Daylight savings time. So we've got two. We should maybe start a list of executive orders that we want to see happen. Yeah, a lot of stuff to discuss this evening. Thank you for joining us. If you're out there, YouTube, give me a chat if you're listening on YouTube. I'd like to see if this chat thing works actually, because I've never had anybody chat through there. Instagram, I can keep an eye on those here and there because I'm bouncing back and forth. I am my own producer here, and I'm doing this all myself. So, and I'm just a Gen Xer that is not totally tech savvy, but we get through. It's about 15. We might lengthen this depending on how things go. When we start getting guests, this will probably extend to a half hour, which is nice. A little less of me, more of the guest, of course. Yeah. Oh man, where to start? Okay. So what we do on the podcast, I know where to start. It's Cash Friday Eve. Friday, when you're going out to spend money on the weekend, what little money you haven't spent on eggs, stop by the ATM, get your cash. Why? Why do we do this? It saves the business money on transaction fees, okay? It gives the business more control over their profits. It just supports the local economy and the local community. It keeps your purchases anonymous too. There's that whole thing. KeepCashAlive.com. If you're a business owner, they've got a really nice flyer for you to put up in your business if you want to see more cash transactions. Yeah, there we go. We've got some people out there. Jackinator, I see you, dude. Micah, CB, there we go. Okay, so this thing does work. And they've got little handouts. You can print them out right at your house, just like me. All right, let's get into this. So when you're Googling the stuff that we try to just promote people doing their own research. We try to bring up a lot of points and a lot of topics, and yeah, we make our opinions. You've got your opinions. It's all good. We live here in America. So yeah. But what I want you to do is get out and Google oh man, this thing is crazy. The Inflation Reduction Act. Inflation. Totally misnamed. Either way, here we go. The Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 is a United States federal law which aims to reduce the federal government budget deficit, lower prescription drug costs, and invest in domestic energy production. What could go wrong? The law will raise $738 billion from tax reform and prescription drug reform to lower prices. And then they're going to give those savings to climate change. What could go wrong, right? So, what it does, though, in this act, it took a little bit of me to read this. The pills, they can fall under regulated pricing, like government pricing, in a short amount of time, which means they get less investors. And the whole time, all this money is going to electric vehicle manufacturers. It does go to some health insurance companies in some of these Obamacare deals, and then some other Democratic interest groups. So it's basically what they do is they put the thing out there labeled as one thing, where the money's totally going to go to another thing. And that's not even the thing it's going to go to. The money's going to go to a third thing, and probably a fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, eighth thing. Now, Trump is kind of said he's for it, and he's kind of said he's against it. I saw both doing my research, and I don't know. I figure he'll just take the money and put it somewhere else, right? It just won't go towards electric vehicles and climate change, chemtrails. So, yeah, look up the Inflation Reduction Act. Some of the other things they are going to spend this on, climate justice. The concept that the impacts of climate change are not equally felt with the most vulnerable populations. Stepping on each other's toes. It's just wild where it's some of this money, lots of it, as you know, as we know, goes to just these wild ideas and things, and it's probably going elsewhere as well. Yeah. I mean, and all I'm going to say about that Doge, I just don't understand why everybody is so angry. I mean, obviously, the last president was probably doing things with your money too. Probably a lot more with your money that you don't want him doing with your money. And when I say your money, your tax dollars. Where could that money be going where it's better spent for the people of the United States of America? The Inflation Reduction Act was a lot to absorb. Do your research, get your opinions together, and you know what? Just love each other. We'll get to that later. Okay, I've got a visual. And this is all we're going to say about this topic as well. So this is Ukraine and Texas. So what the Ukraine war has been going on for like what? It seems like 60 years now, right? A long time. What, 3 years, 5 years, something like that. Okay, my question, first question, call me stupid. How much more is there to blow up in Ukraine after 3 years? Something's going haywire somewhere, A lot of money has gone to Ukraine. Now there's going to be all these contracts to rebuild Ukraine, BlackRock, some of these big companies. It's just that the whole government level of thinking with all the leaders, it's all just a big racket. It's all just a big racket, people. Is it not? All right, we'll get off of that. We'll get off of that. I went the other night to watch the Saturday Night Live thing. I couldn't get a feed. I couldn't get a link on my stick. So I ended up watching this National Geographic special on sextortion. It was wild, man. I mean, you can watch any spooky movie that you want to watch. And until you watch one of these things where they're changing the people's voice, making them wear a mask, blurring out their face, talking about, okay, here's what happens. Here's what happens. And those of you with teenage sons, it was mainly sons, listen up. It gets a little gross. It gets a little nasty. So they coerce. There are giant call centers in the Philippines, call centers of sextortion workers. Okay. There is a queen of sextortion. We've got so many good bands here. We could start like Burning Man Festival. We could have a whole lineup of bands. We could have the Queen of Sextortion. We could have, well, there was a portion of that Inflation Act that was called Biden's Pill Penalty. That could be a band name. Biden's Pill Penalty, 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 Biden's Pill Penalty. Maybe we should make a list of those too. Either way, the Queen of Sextortion. All right. Sextortion was invented by one woman in the Philippines, Maria Caparas. So they make friends with these guys online. They get them to, send them some stuff, some pictures, things like that. And then they just say, hey, send me this much money, or I'm going to send this to your job. I'm going to send this to your family. I mean, depending on how bad it is, everybody's kind of seen junk, right? Go ahead, send it. Go ahead, send it. You're not taking my money, send it. But it gets pretty traumatic because some of these kids, they panic. There's been suicides. It gets nasty and it gets ugly. So if you want to really just freak yourself out one night, get on your YouTube and National Geographic Sextortion. It's beyond is what it is. Oh boy. We've got quite a list going here, don't we? Climate change, Doge, sextortion. Okay, another visual. This asteroid is going to hit the Earth. And when I bring up this visual, you know what I'm going to say also? Bring back the malls. Only us Gen Xers are going to know what this is. The Zoomers out there, they're not going to even know. Or are you? Okay. All right. So the city killer is this asteroid. What's the name? 2024 something. But there is another asteroid that could hit before this one, and it's called God of Chaos, another band name. So at the Burning Man, we've got what? God of Chaos, Biden's Pill Party, Queen of Sextortion, and Cash Friday. Yeah. Take this information though, people. Go do some research, do some reading. Send me a message. I'll send you the link to that National Geographic thing. It's creepy. It's creepy. It's scary, creepy, and nasty all in one. And people die. When Jackie and I were doing the older podcast, The Informed Opinion, which you can watch on YouTube, we would always try to we'd go into the murkiness of today's news, and then we would bring it out. Okay. So, what I want people to try to do I want you to get up in the morning because you get a fresh start every day, people. And if you can really truly live in the moment, that's what you have right there. But while you're living in that moment, I want you to live like a dog. Live like a dog. Okay. Now I know dogs can be bitches. Sometimes we got to be bitches. But what is the best thing a dog does? It just walks the earth with unconditional love. Unconditional love. You know, if more of us could just live in that moment of, what I'm doing doesn't matter. What I'm giving matters. What I'm getting doesn't matter. I think we wouldn't have as many of those headlines that we were talking about, Um, yeah. Keep it real, people. Get up, cook yourself a good meal using good ingredients. Um, put good stuff in your body. Your health is number one in feeling well and being able to give away positive energy, instead of negative energy. Yeah. A lot of ugly stuff, a lot of good stuff. Designated driver, people. Okay. Cook your own meals. Send me some guest ideas. scottleisure.com, YouTube, Instagram. Friend me on Instagram. Message me on Instagram. Um, yeah. Get some cardio in. Okay. Here's the deal. At the gym, yes, you need to wipe down your equipment. But dudes, they have stalls for a reason. Okay. Okay. Enough said. Don't get trafficked. After that whole sextortion thing, do not get trafficked. Watch for the pedestrians. Walk with intention, people. I don't know, man. Have a good week. We'll check you all out next week. Be liking, be sharing, be enjoying. Message me, comment, do all that stuff. All right. All right. Thanks for the time. And